Hey everybody, welcome back. So we have come to the end of this recording series. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed getting you started with Studio One Artist. This is something that you may watch over and over again, as there was a lot of content here throughout this series. So I want to take a couple of minutes and I want to give you some additional information that'll help you even increase and speed up your workflow and the power of Studio One as something you may want to consider in the future. So first and foremost, right now we've been talking about Studio One Artist through this entire series, and we also mentioned a couple of times throughout the series that if you want to increase some of the horsepower and some of the features of Studio One Artist, you can get the Studio One Artist Booster Pack, which will add a few things to Studio One Artist as it sits on your computer today. One, you'll have the ability to import and work with MP3 files, which is hugely important, which is a great feature and something you may want to consider. You're also going to get some additional VST instruments, and you'll have the ability to also use any third-party plugins or virtual instruments with Studio One Artist, and that's something you may want to consider in the future as well. And you're also going to get some additional samples and loops and stuff with Studio One, so you can help have more options when you're doing your song construction. So that's something to take a look at, the Studio One Artist Booster Pack. Check the pricing on presonus.com in their shop. The other thing you may want to consider, instead of getting the booster pack, you may even want to take a look at upgrading right to the professional version of Studio One. Yeah, it's a little bit more money than just getting the booster pack, but you get a lot more features and a lot more horsepower with Studio One Professional. Now, the biggest thing you're going to get with Studio One Professional is you're going to get the mastering suite, or what they call the project page. Now, that's not included in Studio One Artist. That's going to give you the ability to master all the music that you record and mix in Studio One. You're going to be able to master it all inside of the same program, and it's a really, really powerful and professional, fully featured mastering suite. So you get that with Professional. You're also going to get even more VST instruments that come along with Studio One, more loops, more sound samples, more drum libraries, and those sorts of things. So it's really going to take what you've learned in Studio One Artist, and it's really going to increase the horsepower quite a bit. And all the functions and features are exactly the same. So you don't have to learn an entirely different DAW. Everything looks the same. The features and everything that we learned in this recording series are going to apply to Studio One Professional as well. So it's something else to take a look at. Another thing that may interest you if you really want to speed up your workflow, especially as you're recording in Studio One, is you may want to take a look at their fader port series. And as of the recording of this video, which is about mid-2018, there are currently 3 different fader ports that are PreSonus makes that are just plug and play into Studio One. The first one is the single channel or the single fader port. They also have what's called the fader port 8, which has 8 motorized faders. And they also now have the fader port 16, which has 16 motorized faders. And this is really going to be helpful when you start mixing your projects, where you don't have to do everything with a mouse and a keyboard. You can have that nice tactile feel of having real faders like on a mini little console. So those are something that you may want to take a look at. I highly recommend the very least, the single channel fader port, because that's great just to have the transport controls alone at your fingertips: the start, the stop, the record, the mute, the record enable, the punch-in feature for recording. This is really helpful when you're trying to perform music and record yourself at the same time. If you have an instrument in your hand and you just want to start and stop Studio One and record and all that stuff, it's easier to do it with a fader port than it is to grab a mouse and a keyboard. Not to mention the fader port also comes with an optional foot switch where you can do everything hands-free and do it with your feet, which is really great if you're a guitar player, bass player, or even a keyboard player where your hands are already busy. You don't want to have to reach over to the computer every time you want to do something in Studio One. So the fader port series is something you absolutely should take a look at the very least, the single channel. And then once you get into more heavy mixing, you may want to look at the fader port 8 or the fader port 16. So those are just a couple of things that are going to help you increase and speed up your workflow in Studio One. And again, PreSonus is always coming out with a whole new line of products and improving their products. So depending on when you're watching this video, they may even have some really additional cool things that are not even available right this moment. So keep your eye on presonus.com for all the latest information. And once again, if you want even more additional training specific to Studio One, you can always go out to my website at homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I have a special 25% coupon code that I want to give you that you can use at checkout right on my website. The coupon code is PreSonus25. That's PreSonus25. You use that coupon code at checkout. It'll take 25% off any of my training courses on my website. That's my way of saying thanks to you for spending time here with me during this recording series. And again, I have 2 or 3 different courses as I sit here today that are specific to Studio One that'll help you take what we've learned in this course and bring you to another level. We have Mixing in Studio One Made Easy Volume 1 and Volume 2, where we're going to take our recordings, and now I'm going to show you how to use EQ and compression and how we professionally get results, a professional sounding mix right inside of Studio One. And the great thing is you only need to have the Studio One plugins. You don't need to go out and buy anything else. So until the next time I see you in another one of our series, I want to again say thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a lot of fun. Oh, and last but not least, be sure also on the PreSonus website, go out and find their the user forum, the community forum. That's another great resource. If you have any questions or anything that you stumble upon during your time with Studio One, you can always go out to the user community and you can ask your questions there. It's a really, really great, friendly environment for a lot of new people that are working with Studio One, and there's a lot of veterans out there that are more than happy to help you through some of your stumbling blocks if you come up across any while you're working with Studio One. So definitely go to the presonus.com website, find the support tab at the top of the page, and you'll see where you could join the user forum. It's absolutely free, and that is another great resource. And be sure you check out their Facebook page as well. PreSonus has their own Facebook page. The PreSonus community is probably the best user community I've ever been involved with, and I've been involved with quite a few of them, as far as people being there to help, especially new people, into the whole world of PreSonus and Studio One. So once again, my name's David Vignola with HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys around in the next series. Take care.